Her name was Emma. She was the new girl in school. I remember feeling very sorry for her because every student was staring, pointing, and whispering about her. She was extremely small, very thin, and worst of all, she was a 12-year-old girl who had no hair. Emma ended up being put into my homeroom. She was introduced to us all that first day and then told to take a free seat. Emma took a seat 2 rows away from me, 1 chair up. She laid her head on her new desk, crossed her legs, and put her hands over her face. She tried to conceal her embarrassment, but everyone could sense it. At lunch, Emma sat at a table all alone. I think she was too frightened to approach anyone, while at the same time, everyone was too frightened to approach her. About 10 minutes into lunch, I decided to leave my table and go talk to her. I pulled out a chair and sat down. I said, "Hi, my name's Vanetta. Do you mind if I sit here?" Emma never responded, just nodded, never lifting her face or raising her eyes to look at me. Trying to make her feel more comfortable, I began talking as if I'd known her forever. I told her stories about our teachers, the principal, and some of my friends. By the end of the 20 minutes that we had sat together, she was looking at me right in the eyes. But her face held no expression. She simply looked at me with a blank stare. When the bell rang to go to our next class, I stood up, told her it was nice to get to know her, and walked away. I felt terrible just walking away, as I had been unable to get her to talk, or even smile. My heart was aching for this girl, because her pain was so obvious to me. It wasn't until about 3 days later, when I was at my locker getting things ready for my next class, that Emma finally said hi to me. "I just want to say thank you for you talking to me. I really appreciate you trying to be nice." As she walked away, I gathered my things and chased after her. From that day on, we were inseparable. This girl had captured my heart. She was loving and caring and honest and compassionate. But most of all, she was lonely. We became best friends, and in doing so, I set my 12-year-old self up for the most devastating thing I would ever have to experience in life. I found out Emma had cancer, and she wasn't given a very good chance of beating her disease. For 5 months, Emma and I were best friends. We spent every day together at school, and we were together almost every night to study or just hang out. And of course, every weekend, we talked, we laughed, we joked about boys and fantasized about our futures. I wanted to be her friend forever, but I knew that was not to be the case. After 5 months of being friends, Emma became very, very sick. I spent all my free time with her. I would go to the hospital when she was there and sleep over her house when she was home. I knew in my heart I had to make sure she understood that she was my best friend in the whole world. The sister I never had. I was at home one Sunday, sitting with my dad watching soccer when the phone rang. My mom went to go answer it. I could hear her mumbling, and then she hung up. She walked into the room, eyes red and tears streaming down her face. I instantly knew what had happened. "Is Emma going to be all right?" I asked. Her inability to reply answered it all. Emma had been rushed to the hospital for a very high fever. The news wasn't good. The cancer wasn't responding to any of the treatments. It was spreading. Emma was losing her fight to stay alive. 3 days later, Emma passed away at home in bed. She was just 12 years old. I remember feeling numb, knowing that she had passed on, but not quite understanding the finality of it all. Over the next few weeks, I would have to learn the toughest lesson I would ever have to learn in life. Not only did I have to learn to deal with death mentally and emotionally, I had to learn to grieve. I hadn't been able to do that yet. Then one day, Emma's mom came over and gave me a box. She'd found it in Emma's things with a note saying to give it to me when she was no longer here. I took it up to my room and stared at it for an hour or more. Then I finally had the courage to open it. Inside, I once again found my best friend. Emma had put some pictures of me and her in the box. importantly, a note to me. I began to sob, but I managed to read it. I never thought I would ever know true friendship she began. I was always treated like an outsider, a circus freak. If anyone did talk to me, it was usually to ask what was wrong with me, or worse, I was gonna die. You were my best friend in the whole world, and I will never forget our friendship. If you are reading this, I'm in heaven. Please don't cry. I'm happy now. I'm no longer sick or bald. I'm a beautiful, perfect angel. I will watch over you every day of your life. I'll be there with you during your first heartbreak and watch with joy on your wedding day. You deserve the best, Vanetta. Never change and never forget our friendship. I'm so grateful God allowed me to know you. I'll be waiting to see you again. Love, Emma. Reading that letter changed my life. Even though she was the one sick and losing her life, she took the time to make sure I would be okay. She wanted to make sure that I could cope with losing her. Her death is the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with in life. But I believe that God put our hearts together for a reason. We needed each other. She needed a friend, and I needed her strength and courage. I thank God every day to Emma, and I still talk to her. Our friendship will never fade or die away. People may come and go, and lives may change in an instant.